What is up, my people? It's Sound Money here today, doing my walk. And today was interesting. There was a lot of news on tech stocks as far as the AI bubble goes. Seemed like all I could read today was AI bubble this, AI bubble that. And I think, once again, as always, you got to stay calm in the middle of the storm, you know? I look at it and it's like, I'm looking at the NASDAQ is down like 0.5%. And there's all these AI bubble fear talks going on, right? And so, I'll be honest with you, especially with Bitcoin, I am looking at my portfolio and I'm like, man, do I just sell this? Is it going to keep going down? You know, and all that fear mania can get to anybody, really. But I took a step back. I thought about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let it get to me. It's literally that simple, you know? Because at the end of the day, I was looking at it thinking like, my initial thought was like, man, you know, maybe Iran has something to do with that, with the fear, you know, just in general and the economy as a whole. Because one of the shipments got hit by a drone today. And by the way, today is, if you're watching this later, it's the 25th, Thursday, June 25th, Thursday, 2026. And so anyways, I'm looking at that thinking, oh, maybe it's kind of this Iran conflict, you know, making things worse, making the fear talk worse. But then I go to look at Iran shipments, and they're definitely up this month. Said I think it was like 41 ships inbound today, which is a lot higher than the beginning of this month, June. And so I'm like, you know what? It's not really that, because to be honest, I mean, crude oil prices are down. Even if I'm here in California, and if you go to the gas station, gas prices are down from their all-time highs. And so I'm like, thinking in my head, like, you know what? A lot of this is just talk. Not that it's not legit. Obviously, what's really going on is people are worried about the next Fed meeting. They're worried that, I hate motorcycles now that I film these videos, but they're worried that Kevin Welch is gonna raise interest rates. So you might be thinking, if you're new, like, why does that matter? Well, it matters because if interest rates go up, those long-term debts that these tech companies hold, it goes up as well, right? Because obviously, as the interest you pay on those debts go up, you're gonna owe more money. And so that's really what's causing this whole AI bubble freak out. And I think you have to kind of meet in the middle sometimes, because the reality is, I do think it is a bubble, you know? I do think you look at the PE ratios, they're higher than ever right now. And it's because of all this AI talk, right? Every company is out looking for a piece of the pie, right? If there's a buck to be made, people will make it, right? And that's what's going on with a lot of these companies. So they're overvalued, right? It's a lot of hype going on. But that doesn't take away the fact that AI will change things. And a lot of these companies will, even the companies that are successful, they're going to get hit when everything comes crashing down, right? But they'll be the winners. And if you hold those stocks long term, you're still going to win. But the real question is, what are those companies going to be? What are going to be the winner stocks out of this AI technology race, right? And so you kind of got to always realize that the market is like a cop. It questions everything, right? I don't know if you've ever been interrogated by a cop just for something maybe that a cop thought you did or whatever, but they're gonna ask everything. They're gonna ask who you're with, why are you with them, why you're there, blah, 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 right? That's what the market does. They question everything and they freak out about everything. The market's like a bad cop, right? They freak out about everything, they'll arrest anybody. And what you gotta be as an investor is a good cop. You gotta investigate everything, but then come up with a wise conclusion and pick the right ones, right? Just like a good cop would pick the right people at a crime scene. They would do their whole investigation, be like, all right, this guy's the most likely to have committed this crime. Let's do a full investigation, right? And I think you kind of got to be like that as an investor. You got to be the same way in the sense that you got to question everything, but come up with your own conclusion on what's the best options from here, right? And so I was kind of thinking about it like, well, do you really want to panic sell? In my opinion, no, it's not the right way to go. Panic selling, for instance, right, in a time like this, Bitcoin, a lot of people, including me, could panic sell right now, right? Because even for me, I'm down. I got in, the first time I bought Bitcoin, it was at like 60,000. But that's when I started buying it, okay? Once it started getting past 110,000, I think I stopped buying, which I shouldn't even have been buying then looking back at it. But I got caught up in the mania, right? Happens to the best of us. I think my average buy price is like 90,000 now because I've just dollar cost average. But the point is, it's below 90,000, right? So you could argue like, man, you should just sell, get out now while you can. But in reality, the bottom probably isn't even hit yet. And I know that. But am I gonna sell everything? Nah. Because I do believe, once again, it's sound money if you wait on it. Meaning, if I give Bitcoin 10 years, I don't think I'll even have to worry about my average buy price being 90,000 or whatever. Because I honestly think it's gonna easily double that within 10 years, probably more than double. So you got to keep a level head, and that's the whole point of this video, is that always keep a level head, right? There's always going to be news headlines every single day. Every single day you could look up the news on Wall Street Journal or wherever you get your news from, and there's going to be something. There's going to be somebody freaking you out in one, either to buy or sell. You know, you're always going to have somebody saying, oh, you need to buy this stock, you need to buy this crypto, whatever it is. Now's the only chance. If you wait, you're an idiot, blah, 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 blah. And people are going to say the same thing when it comes to selling. They're going to tell you, man, you'd be an idiot not to sell right now. But you got to keep a level head and don't take daily news. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes investors make. And we are in a very volatile market right now because of the conditions, with everything going on with Iran, with interest rates, with inflation. We have a very chaotic market, and now more than ever, you have to be the calm in the chaos, because that's really what smart people do. They don't freak out, right? Emotional intelligence is key when it comes to financial intelligence, because I shouldn't have used intelligence twice, but emotional intelligence is really a lot of like what finance comes down to when you're making decisions, in my opinion. Because most people, to be honest, they don't have emotional intelligence. They're never in control of their emotions, and that goes for in life, period. That's why most people can't save. They don't have discipline, and that's what you got to have. If you want to be financially free, start as soon as you can and stay dedicated and disciplined to whatever it is that your goals are. And I think if you want to make money in the stock market, you can. You just gotta be willing to be in it for the long haul, and you can't just take anyone's opinion and advice. You gotta have a mind of your own. And so the whole point of this video is just that there's a lot of AI bubble fear out there. And I'm not saying it's legit. I'm telling you it is legit. But the thing is, markets are about timing. And everybody wants to tell you that now's the time, right? Now's either the time to buy or the time to sell. Everybody wants to tell you their opinion on that. And that's fine, right? That's fine. Sometimes there really is, somebody's right out there. But a guy that's so sure of anything, I would always question twice as hard. You know, and that's something really to remember, because that's basically the truth in life, honestly.